Mr. Speaker.
Stuart Nash.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as a white, middle-class, rugby-playing, beer-drinking male, I completely agree with the Minister on the travesty that is violence against women and children in this country. But what I'm absolutely positive about as well is there is an equal travesty here, and that is the lack of resolution for such crimes. And I'm told that one of the reasons why a lot of women don't come forward is because they're not taken seriously and they know that this will not be dealt with by the police in an acceptable way. Mr. Speaker, the police are at their wits' end on how to solve crime, on how to deal with the sort of travesty, the sort of crime, the sort of disgrace that that minister talks about. Mr. Speaker, let me talk about the police for a second. 60% of them, 60% of police say that they cannot deliver on the promises they make to the public. 55% of them say they have too much work-related stress. And 60% of them say that their views and their opinions are not listened to. But there's another side to that, Mr. Speaker. 88% said that they are committed to their communities and the work they do, and 80% said that they are committed to the police. What we have here, Mr. Speaker, is a group of highly professional men and women who want to do what's right, who know that they should be spending a lot more time solving the crimes that that minister talked about. But they simply haven't got the resources to do this. They've now been told they've got to investigate every single burglary. That means an extra 8,000 burglaries every single year. But Mr. Speaker, what we've also got is a minister who told the House today that success for her is providing the funding for the police to do the jobs. But what I can also say is that minister signed off on a strategic plan for the next 4 years. She signed off on this in May of this year for the next 4 years that said no more police. So crime is increasing. The type of crime is increasing. People are becoming more and more disenchanted, and the police commissioner himself has said, I want you to do 40% more work around solving burglaries. But the number of police has not increased at all, and it's not forecast to. We simply can't keep asking the police to do more with less. And then, Mr. Speaker, we had a bill before the House last night which talked about user pays. If certain groups, like kindergartens and schools, that we require under law to get employees vetted, when they have this undertaken, they must pay the police force. So the police force are going from a model where it's about the community to now a model where it's about money. And that, Mr. Speaker, is a fundamental change in philosophy. And we need to get it back to where the police are there to serve our community in every single aspect of the work they do. Not a user pay system. That is not what we expect from our police force in New Zealand. Mr. Speaker, that same minister said in 2011 that there must be harsher crimes for those who assault police. And I think every single person in this House, well, I hope every single person in this House would agree with that. But 5 years on, Mr. Speaker, the same police officer who prompted the call from that very same minister was knocked out by a rogue, not a rogue punch, she was knocked out, and when she was on the ground unconscious, she was punched again. This lady's attacker received, what, 3 years in jail? No. Maybe 2 years in jail? No. This guy received a community services sentence. 300 hours. That is an absolute disgrace, Mr. Speaker. What we want, Mr. Speaker, is for a minister to stand up and back her officers. For a minister to say, if you assault a police officer in this manner, then you're going to go to jail. Anyone who does this to a police officer, then they are off to jail, because it is totally unacceptable that someone who perpetrates a crime like this against an officer does not go down. And I think that's a disgrace. Mr. Speaker, just to sum up, what we need to see in this country is more money to provide more police in our communities so they can solve the crime that that minister was talking about, so they can prevent crime, so they can work within the community, so they can deliver on the expectations of New Zealand. We all want that. That minister over there, the Minister of Women's Affairs, highlighted the problems we've got. We need more police in New Zealand now. Thank you very much.